Good evening and welcome. You're watching Newsbreak. I'm Dil Toh Bachcha. You see, I'm sure you must have experienced this, but let's just give it a name. There is a new definition in town and it is called Kidulting. And when I start explaining this definition, either you will already know of it or you would realize that I in any case do this. Because you see, Dil Toh Bachcha hai. Now what is Kidulting? It is a play on the word kid and adulting. So if you are acting like a kid and thus inviting criticism like, are you kidding? Don't act like a juvenile. So the point is that now these are no more barbs because this is psychiatrists aligned and accepted and approved terminology. That you can be an adult and yet behave like a kid to invoke certain amount of happiness. Adults engaging in activities traditionally for children is called Kidulting. It's a viral mental health trend among millennials these days, and even before a term could have been given to this, I'm sure many of you have already done this in the past. This is based on the psychology of nostalgia. It awakens the inner child in you, an escape from what can be a busy, boring adult life. There are, in fact, noted cases of rise in kidulting during the pandemic, that is the period between 2020 and 2022. According to Bloomberg, 2,000 US citizens who were surveyed, many of them, more than 50% of them, bought toys for themselves and not for their children. In 2021, McDonald's introduced a Happy Meal for adults, and you would think that Happy Meals are actually for children. Now, kidulting, psychologists say, is actually good for mental health. They say that kids' activities offer an escape from adult life from time to time. Kids' activities evoke nostalgia of perhaps carefree times. It's a creative release of carefree play because you're not expected to abide by any rules. You are on your own. You're enjoying yourself essentially, just like a child does. It is also a way to escape pent-up negative emotions, that you're taking an emotional refuge away from your day-to-day problems and discovering that childlike innocence and childlike happiness. Kidulting can release feel-good endorphins in the body. More mindfulness, being fully present in the moment, a balanced life, combining fun activities and responsibilities. So on this discussion, we are going to speak to some psychologists, noted psychiatrists, and also some people who have actually considered this whole concept of kidulting into a business proposition. So Dil Toh Bachcha hai, are you kidulting too? And at the end of this discussion, we'll actually tell you that there are more than enough people who are practicing kidulting. They may not have known the meaning of this word, but they were doing it in any case. We took a sample in our own NDTV newsroom and found quite many kidults around. I want to introduce Dr. Aruna Baruta, psychologist. Dr. Harish Shetty is a social psychiatrist. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have Varun Todi, is the founder of a company called OA Happy, and I'm sure he'll be only too happy to explain what OA Happy actually does. I'm pretty sure kidulting was one of the things that was on his mind when he founded this company. But Dr. Baruta, I want to begin with you first. I'm pretty sure that people were already doing this. It's just that in this modern world, which feels the compulsive need to label and define everything, this term is just kind of parking that emotion of millions of people as a concept. How does it help, Dr. Baruta?
Sanket, you've already talked so much yourself about it. You left hardly any aspect of it untouched. And that was lovely what you said. But I just want to differentiate between normal kidulting and abnormal kidulting. So I would say that if you are in stress and you want to de-stress, There's nothing wrong in playing a game. For example, in say 15 years back, you would have played carom, you would have played snakes and ladders, you would have played ludo, but you would have played with your children. So that is a double purpose because you're de-stressing yourself, but you're also connecting with your children. But the kidulting of today is that you play games on your own as solo games because you're on your telephone all the time, you're with technology, and you're isolating yourself from the family, you're isolating yourself from friends. So kidulting was a very important word to be coined where we can feel happy but yet harmful because this is a good opportunity that we could connect with others, but we don't because technology preoccupies us and occupies us a lot. I will say that there is abundance of stress. There is poor time management. There is a lot of work to be squeezed in 24 hours. You see how corporates are working. You see that there is a lot of demand from the home to be a happy home. More than that, I think to be more set a home like a 5-star hotel, which requires a lot of effort. And so you like to squeeze in everything. But the question is, are you always going to be an adult? As you said, Dil Toh Bachcha hai ji. Now, when you say Dil Toh Bachcha hai ji, yes, there is a child in us and it should be expressed no matter what the people tell you that you're foolish, you're stupid, you're immature. Why should an 80-year-old woman like me be hopscotching or be, playing something with ribbons or something with stuffed toys or something like that? But I think if I do that with a balance of my work, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But if I shove my responsibility and indulge in it too much,
very
that's
interesting
not
distinction
fair.
that you make of normal kidulting and abnormal kidulting. If you do it compulsively and just keep doing that, obviously there has to be balance in life. Dr. Harish Shetty, as a social psychiatrist, do you come across people or adults who would, are in dire need of medication? I mean, clinically diagnosed conditions of trouble, who have benefited from, experiencing a childlike innocence in some other adult?
Kidulting is old wine in new bottle. Globalization
very
causes
well said.
anger, angst,
well said.
alienation and disconnection. Kidulting helps you to get aware of yourself. Shah Rukh Khan said this in his film Devdas. खुद को खोने से पहले खुद से मिलना चाहता हूं. So this essence of awareness, getting in touch with yourself, bringing the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system in alignment, bringing the mind and the body in alignment and bringing all of us in alignment with nature. That is kidulting. Nothing wrong in that. We have been doing it for a long time. But awareness of this is high because we are disconnected. How many of us attend funerals? Hardly any. We don't know who has died in their own building. So reconnection and kidulting is a natural process. Human beings by nature love to be childlike and not childish. There's a difference there. And being childlike would mean dancing without reason, wearing shorts in the house, discarding your visiting card, and getting in touch with yourself, being absolutely in a state of joy. And that helps us to discover our innocence. Inside each one of us, there is innocence. And that helps you to improve mental health. It helps the orchestra of the body to produce music and not noise. So I recommend to patients who are recovering from depression, patients who are alienated and not in touch with themselves, nor with the loved ones, to start simply dancing without reason. They said, we are not good dancers. I said, move your legs and hands and laugh without reason. At the same time, do it with your friends and your family. It has tremendous benefit. It reorganizes the biochemistry of the brain and each and every cell of the body starts speaking to each other. Kidulting is old wine in new bottle. It's a must in a era.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, Dr. Shetty, because when we started reading about this concept, then we realize, oh, come on, this has been there for a very long time. We have all done it. We just never knew that it is called this. And Varun Todi, your company OA Happy produces something called the 90s kit, and I know this because I was gifted one. And it had a video game in it. It had those the phantom sugary cigarettes in it. Yeah. Why did you feel the need to come up with a 90s kit like this? And was Kidulting on your mind? That there will be people who will get nostalgic.
So honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing the term Kidulting and the psychological impact and the advantages of it. When we launched the business as Marwadis, the only thought in our head was, let's launch and create products that will make money. And as a 30s, 90s kid myself, I have always loved my childhood a lot. I have always enjoyed smoking the phantom cigarettes a lot, even though I'm not a smoker myself. I've enjoyed playing the video games, the fatafat, the chocolates, all of that. So when I saw a phantom cigarette being sold in a mela in Hyderabad, it made me really happy as a normal human being. And that's when the idea struck that, hey, why don't I make a product out of this? We launched it just before the COVID phase, and it became a best-selling hamper almost instantly. And that made us think that, hey, nostalgia really works. And I think the success of Gadar 2 right now is kind of proof that nostalgia really works with people. And even right now, we have a similar concept for Rakhi called the 90s Kid Rakhi edition, which also happens to be a bestseller. So for us, I think we are really lucky to have stumbled upon the whole nostalgia angle and making good money from it.
Absolutely. But again, the point that was being made by Dr. Baruta is that to be able to enjoy the joy of nostalgia, you have to first be in the present, so that you can occasionally, as an escape hatch, go into the past. But if you continue to live in the past, or if you continue to engage in a very abnormal form of kidulting, then you are actually, frankly, kidding yourself. Thank
Sanket,
you.
allow me to give 2 points,
sure,
please. Okay. One day in Simla, on the Mall Road, my friend and I were playing a walking game, and it is a soldier got drunk and he packed up his trunk and he left. This left word should come on the left foot, otherwise you're out. Okay? So while we were doing it, my very serious husband says, "Kya kar rahe ho? Log dekh rahe hain. You are Dr. Bruta. तुम बुढ़े हो चुके हो." मैंने कहा वो देखकर वो भी स्टार्ट कर देंगे. But what is the harm in enjoying and reliving your childhood?
Yeah.
So most of the time we Indians are bothered about log kya kahenge. And that is why we prevent ourselves. The second thing I do want to say to you very much is that when you put stuffed toys in your bedroom, there is a cheer up, flavor to the bedroom. The environment is so lit up, and a lot of people say, "Are you half mad?" So then they start using the word, "She's immature." Is she immature that she has contributed so much? Is she immature that she's working during her working hours? Or is she immature if she's not working? For example, I am near my bed, and this is what this guy sleeps with me.
How
I don't
lovely.
hug him.
You
can't take him to an extreme. But he cheers me up because as a psychologist, I'm sure Shetty sir and Varun sir are going to say, कोई सुखी आदमी तो हमारे पास आता नहीं है. सुबह से लेके रात तक we are listening only to dukh.
Yeah.
And we are the ones who need to
I
be
guess the reason this happens is because
within time management.
I guess the reason why this happens is because we tend to take ourselves too seriously and we try to be too grown up. I think that's where the problem is. Thank you very much. I've run out of time and would just like to tell our viewers that it was a random sample where we took the camera to our colleagues and we were surprised to see the results of the number of people who actively engage in kidulting, including yours truly.
my childhood memories. So I went to a boarding school and we had great food at that school. तो ब्रेकफास्ट में एक दिन आई थिंक ट्यूसडे या वेडनेसडे में पराठे मिलते थे और हम इतना खाते थे कि एक बार हमारे प्रिंसिपल साहब ने हमसे कहा, ही सेड टू अस दैट तुम्हारे स्कूल का नाम पराठा पब्लिक स्कूल कर देना चाहिए क्योंकि तुम और किसी काम के हो नहीं. सो दीज डेज व्हेनेवर आई फील नॉस्टैल्जिक आई रिक्वेस्ट एट होम कि भाई मेरे लिए पराठे बना दो एंड आई ईट दोस पराठास एंड आई फील दैट आई हैव रीलिव्ड सम ऑफ माय चाइल्डहुड, सम बिट ऑफ माय चाइल्डहुड.
I was always a gaming enthusiast, and I believe that it started when I was, very young. So from cartoons we graduated to those games, and I remember my father had once bought this video game called Atari. It used to come from abroad, from Dubai or someplace. It used to have a joystick and a red button on top of that joystick, and you could only play 3-4 games in that thing. So that was one of the fondest times that we had, me and my brother. It also was a special bonding time between me and him. Though when we grew up, we still have replaced it with more fancy gadgets. I still have that for old memory sakes. So we might play PS5 Championship, which we call the PS5 League now, but it always brings fond memories when we go back to our parents' house and we see that Atari still packed at our place.
The snacks which have toys inside them, like a Mac kids meal, I don't know, is that called a kids meal? Like cracks and all, they have really cute little toys which you don't know, like Kinder Joy. That's my kidulting.
Two very obvious forms of kidulting that I do. Number one is that I buy die-cast model cars for myself even now. Like I have the whole collection of the Back to the Future DeLorean DMC-12. 3 DeLoreans, toy versions, and toy version of the Land Rover Defender, a die-cast model of the first Willys Jeep. So that is kidulting number 1, and these are toys exclusively for me, not even for my children. And of course, what gives me great joy is even now when I go to a railway station, I have to visit the platform book stand and get myself some comic books. So this is just part of my childhood memory, which continues to this day.
Ever since my child was born, I have developed this new habit in looking for cartoons. Now my favorite is Martha and the Bear. It reminds me of my childhood. And that's the new edition of the cartoon list. Of course, Tom and Jerry always tops the list.
So you must also ask yourself whether you do kidulting or not, and please don't take yourself too seriously. You're not that serious a person. Try relaxing a bit. Discover that child in you. It helps. Let's move on now, unfortunately, to some serious news. The BJP today has announced its first list of candidates for the assembly polls in Madhya Pradesh. Perhaps they should also indulge in kidulting. Madhya Pradesh as well as Chhattisgarh. These elections are due later this year. This is the first time the BJP has announced names of its candidates even before the Election Commission of India has announced the poll dates. The party has announced 21 candidates for the 90-member Chhattisgarh Assembly and 39 for the 230-member Madhya Pradesh Assembly. This announcement comes a day after the Prime Minister chaired a meeting of the BJP's Central Election Committee, the party's topmost decision-making body for the selection of candidates and preparation of poll strategies. We have Anurag Dwari now joining us live. Anurag, can you help decode the meaning behind these announcements? 39 in Madhya Pradesh and 21 in Chhattisgarh. Why did the BJP decide to do this? Any strategy that you could decode when you looked at these names?
First of all, Sanket, I'm just jealous of you because you mentioned kidulting, and I'm just standing outside the BJP office in Madhya Pradesh, and the office remains silent because, we are we have seen quite often that how candidates throng the party offices after the announcements and after the list. But as of now, the the BJP office here in Bhopal, not much people, not much activities. But if my camera person can take you inside, and I can tell you this list comprises of 5 women, 10 candidates from the scheduled tribe, 1 from the scheduled caste category, and the party has chosen 5 women, 8 scheduled caste candidates and 13 scheduled tribe candidates there in Madhya Pradesh. And BJP chief V.D. Sharma is inside the party office. And if, as you asked me to decode the list, so there are around 14 faces who have lost elections in 2018, including 3 or 4 ministers, but they have given tickets, and one candidate from the Sindhya camp, Ranveer Jatav, he was denied a ticket, and Lal Singh Arya is the official candidate from Gohad, and few candidates like Dhruv Narayan Singh, who was the suspect in the infamous RTI activist murder case, as well as Preetam Lodhi, because few days back he was in news as he made some comments against Dhirendra Shastri and Brahmins in Madhya Pradesh. So there are few names which can create a lot of buzz, at least as the BJP has declared its first list for Madhya Pradesh elections. Sanket?
All right, don't worry, Anurag. For all you know, all those candidates are also kidulting, and do try it out this evening. I'm sure you do it too. I know you really well. Thank you very much, Anurag Dwari, getting us all the latest from Bhopal. We also spoke to Akhilesh Sharma, who gave us a national perspective on why the BJP could have done something like this. Let's take a look at his report as well.
Well, Sanket, it is surprising in the sense because the election in these 5 states is still 3 to 4 months ahead, and that is why it's surprising that the BJP Central Election Committee had its meeting yesterday, and of course they finalized the first list of the candidates for Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. In the BJP's history, it has never happened so far. In fact, the national parties like the BJP and the Congress, they wait till the last moment and they see each other's candidate list to decide the names of the candidates. But in this case, in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, the first list has come by the BJP, and as far as Chhattisgarh is concerned, 21 names have been announced, and in Madhya Pradesh, 39 names have been announced. What is surprising that Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan's name does not figure in the first list of the candidates for Madhya Pradesh, and of course Vijay Baghel, who is an MP, has been fielded in Patan in Chhattisgarh. This is a seat where the Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel is the MLA right now. So it will be interesting contest in Chhattisgarh's Patan seat. And of course BJP is saying that in the coming days the Central Election Committee will meet once again to finalize names for Rajasthan Assembly seat election also. And of course the party sources are indicating this is primarily because the loss BJP suffered in Karnataka. It was alleged that in many seats the BJP waited at the last moment, could not decide the candidates in Karnataka, and this was one of the reasons why the BJP lost Karnataka's assembly election. So that is why BJP, learning from its mistakes in Himachal Pradesh and in Karnataka, now taking no chances, because party knows it very well that if it has to win 2024 Lok Sabha elections, it has to repeat its performance in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, where it won almost 100% Lok Sabha seats. So that is why if BJP wins the assembly elections, the psychological advantage will be with it, and that is why the BJP has not taken any chances and decided to declare the list of the candidates well ahead of the announcement by the Election Commission.
All right, that's all the time we have in this show.